Hi! Last week we talked about the right position of hands and feet, and in this week's explanatory video we're going to focus on forward bending. As usual, after we discuss all that, we'll post another video where we do yoga class all together and we'll focus on the points we discussed.
So first things first, what's a forward bend? A forward bend is any position where your upper body moves closer to the lower limbs. Pretty straightforward. Now, what does that do? Well, in effect, it stretches the back body. Anything that is at your back will get stretched as you bend forward, specifically the muscle groups that are close to the fold. So that would refer to the hamstrings at the back of your legs, your calves a little bit, your glutes, and your lower back.
To do forward bending properly and safely, we have four main principles. Principle number one, before going forward, we extend our spine like this. And why do we do that? Because we want to avoid unnecessary pressure on our vertebrae. So principle number two, when we fold forward, the movement starts from our hips and we keep our shoulders straight away from our ears. So don't go forward starting from the back, don't go forward starting from the neck. Keep your back straight and just go down.
So a little note for people like me who have very tight hamstrings and the lower back. As you fold forward, you don't have to keep your knees straight. You can have a micro bend in your knees, and this will decrease the pressure in your hamstrings and in your lower back. And as we said, you extend the spine and you fold from the hips with a micro bend in your knees. And that pulls my hamstrings very, very much. So the next principle, actually the next two principles, are about the attitude in the stretch. Principle number three, we need to go gently. Okay, so we want to move slowly into the stretch. We don't want any pulling and reaching movement. And the final principle, principle number four, you need to synchronize your movement with your breath. When you inhale, you need to find stability and perhaps a bit of length in your spine. And when you exhale, you need to find depth and you need to go lower into the stretch. Now, this is true of forward bends. It's true in pretty much every yoga position. Okay, time to demonstrate. Make sure you're standing. Let's practice the four principles together. Number one, inhale, raise your arms up. Try to reach for the sky. Extend your spine. Now, hands on the hips, exhale, fold from the hips only. Now that I've reached my maximum range of motion, I can do a slight bend in the spine. You go gently, no pulling movement. And now you synchronize with the breath. Every inhale, I make sure I'm stable and my spine stays long. Every exhale, I find depth. I try to move my forehead towards the floor in front of me as opposed to towards my knees. Now that's a good forward fold. Inhale, slowly come up. Super. So that's it for this week's principle video. Next week we'll look at backward bending. See you soon.